Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So yesterday we did have quite an interesting day and it seems like it finally has happened. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I cannot remember a time when we will have two monthly side events ever in this game, and that is going to be the next month. Next month, almost without a doubt, throughout the course of the entire month, we will have two side events. One is going to be whichever one Kabam is going to release for the month of March, and number two is going to be the current side event because they undoubtedly will have to extend it. Now, it was apparent to me and obviously everybody else a while back already that there are issues with the side quest keys, the ones that you get to claim from your solo events. For some people, they were just disappearing. For some people, they were unable to claim them. And as an end result, obviously, you cannot play the side event. And if anything, the side event is more important than the monthly quest and so on and so forth, because there is actual, significant rewards in there in terms of ascension, dust, and what have you, especially if you still care for your 6-star roster, because you can get a ton of 6-star shards from this event this month. And ultimately, when it works, like when you get your keys, this wasn't a bad side event for most part. Yeah, it was RNG based, which I'm not necessarily a big fan of, but it was, not that long, not that tedious for somewhat decent rewards. But the problem is, for a lot of people, it does not work. And this is getting funnier by the week. You see, people often like to tell me that I only talk about negative things, and it's not true. I like to think it's not true. And I actually choose carefully whether to make a video about something that's negative towards this game. I know it's shocking, but trust me, out of 5 things that go wrong, I make a video on one, maybe. And if Kabam does one thing great, I typically make a video on that as well. It's just the reality that we live in, that there are much more things to discuss going wrong than, Kabam doing something awesome or praiseworthy. And this was exactly one of those cases. I knew this had gone wrong. I knew people are pissed off and so on and so forth, but I chose not to make a video about it initially because I thought, okay, fair enough. Some people didn't get their keys. Kabam's going to fix it. And, everything's going to be all right. And then the second week, the same thing happened. And I thought, okay, this is already becoming a bigger thing because obviously they did not only mess up the side event in the first place, they didn't fix it for the next week. And then afterwards, I saw this post from Kabam Jax. This post is from February the 21st. So that's over a week ago. So, hey Summoners, here with the new plan. The team is aiming to have the missing keys distributed via in-game message by March the 1st. We will also be extending the quest period, so it will now end on March the 20th, allowing additional completion time. We will be also extending the Unbreak and Ironheart solo events. Thank you for your patience. And I thought it's perfectly reasonable, final solution of the problem. Yeah, the affected people, unfortunately, will, have to get the rewards slightly later, but ultimately it will not change too much. You're going to have a little overlap, a little bit of time this month to finish up before the update drops. And then, unfortunately, next month you will effectively have to do a bit extra. But, all things concerned, I thought it's a fairly valid solution, right? Well, as it turns out, now keep in mind, this post is from February the 21st. The new side event week, the last one, still repeats the issue. So if they had already created this post with this conclusion and are actively working on, accounting and distributing the missing keys, then they're going to have to do it all over again. I'm almost willing to bet that this is going to get extended even further. So we're probably going to have pretty much a full month of the previous side event. And I'm almost also willing to bet that Kabam is gonna get this wrong and they're gonna deliver these keys with inaccurate amounts, which is kind of funny Because speaking of that subject, and I know the majority of this video is geared around the side event, but Kabam's track record on getting these things right is not too great, as evident by Winter of WoW correction points. And again, I know in this video I'm primarily talking about the side event, not Winter of WoW. And I was potentially considering making a separate video for this, but as it turns out, Winter of WoW missing points are getting distributed. They are already getting, sent out to people. And they are receiving not 1 point, but 3 points. Now, at first I initially thought, fine, perfectly fair, nothing wrong with that, because Winter of WoW didn't have just one issue, they had 2 issues. One issue was the robot objective, and Kabam promised to send an extra point to all the people who completed it. The Absman fight already. And the second point was with the side event resetting for some people, and they said that they're going to distribute the extra points after the week is over, which I thought, okay, fair enough. Some, person with very, very few points, like let's say they did the Nebula week, fine, so I get 4 points for that. And then they got their missing points for the Absorbing Man week. And that would make sense if Kabam distributed those points in that manner, except if they didn't account for people whose events reset and they had to redo those fights, and they did, or they just made another mistake. I'm not entirely sure what the situation there, but this is currently the maximum points that you can have without the extra point. I have done all the objectives. I did the robot, I did the Gamma, and I did the Sinister 6, and then I did all of them for Nebula. You had the opportunity to earn 8 points, and we're waiting for the 9th one to be sent if you basically did the robot objective, which you didn't have to. However, in my chat already, we have people with 11 points. Now, again, I'm not entirely sure where that's coming from, but yeah, they already are just a point away from this next milestone. So, I don't know. It's like, recently I made a video, Kabam's bad week or Kabam's nightmare week, when everything seemed to go wrong. And Kabam is, going for a repeat of that for sure, because we have the offer that's misleading and that everybody's talking about. We have a side event that's screwed up and that's stretching into the next month. We have Winter of WoW point corrections and Winter of WoW issues from the previous week that are catching up now, and people getting extra points, and so on and so forth. And it just seems like a never-ending stream of fuck-ups. I mean, that's what they are. That's what these things are. Somebody there is being extremely, extremely incompetent. And to kind of illustrate the point, we can go to forums, to the general discussion, and we have the Alliance War, no, not Alliance War Season 14, Battleground Season 16 announcement. And you see they changed the name of the announcement, because initially it said Season 16 meta and store update, and like Valorant store update. Now the title has been changed a day or two later to an Valiant store introduction. But the fact that they changed that got me thinking, and I want you guys to follow me on this. Not a single thing changed in the Paragon store or in the rest of the stores, right? Why would anybody post that? I mean, like, I'm legitimately like, when I hit options. This is how it was titled initially. Battleground Season 16 store update. Okay. But these stores didn't change. Correct? So why would you post and create these tables if the store didn't change. You could have just posted the Valiant store. You would receive exactly as much information, exactly as much new information if you just posted the Valiant store. Everything here relevant, everything here is irrelevant, everything here is irrelevant, and everything here is irrelevant. Because it's exactly the same as the stores that we have in game. But why would somebody put that, down in that table and then make sure to post it up there? And then on top of it all, call it a store update. Well, my guess is, and this is just a guess, that the person had no fucking clue that there's no change. That the person, whoever is working on this, controlling the MCOC team account, has no fucking idea how the game looks like right now. That'll be my guess. That's the only reason you post a change convincingly title the thread when there's no change. It might be a small thing, but it's something that genuinely got me thinking. It's like, who the fuck is working there? And with small common issues like this, there's absolutely no wonder they can't even distribute the missing points right or get the side quest working properly. If you're working there and you have no idea about the goings in your game, and you do not have enough critical thinking skills to, double check things or whatever, then what can you expect? Then if you think that's harsh, I ask you again, can you give me a reasonable explanation as to why would somebody go through all the trouble of typing out and creating these pictures and then adding them to the post when there's no change, when there is no store update, and then call it a store update? It's a very, very curious question. But here we are. So, back to the original point of the video. Side events fuck. But on the bright side, you are having issues with the side event. You will get the keys delivered to you, and you will have the chance to do the side event next month. Hopefully. Probably. Possibly. Now, there's a big if whether you're going to get, the right amount of keys, but cross the bridge when we come to it, Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this entire shenanigans session from Kabam, and I'm going to catch you guys soon. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next